mentioning one or two players, picking them out. Diego Simeone, of course, wearing number 5. Who can forget his involvement with David Beckham in the England-Argentina match in the last World Cup? And also, of course, Nelson Vivas, the Premiership player, the Arsenal player, wearing number 13 for Argentina. And, of course, Palermo, that Ozzy Ardulis picked out earlier on. And this is the Colombia lineup. And again, a name there that's really familiar to so many of you in this country. We mentioned him at the start. Hamilton Ricard of Middlesbrough. He is a confirmed starter for them. So Argentina against Colombia, a lot to look forward to here, Clive. It's a crucial game. Argentina, we would expect them to win, wouldn't we?
Yes, they must be favourites, there's no doubt about it, but I have been impressed with Colombia. I think it's a mouth-watering contest tonight, because I'm sure that both nations would want to win the group. I think that will be on their mind, and therefore I think they will both go for it. I don't think Colombia can play any other way than direct counter-attacking football, so I think it really will be a good game. OK, thank you for that. We can now just highlight briefly, before the game gets underway, one of the Premiership players in this Argentinian side. He is, of course, the man I mentioned a moment ago, Nelson Vivas of Arsenal.
With the Nelson Vivas connection, Arsenal fans will be following Argentina in the Copa América after the versatile South American's first season at Highbury. He was bought by Arsene Wenger following an impressive string of performances in the World Cup. Vivas found it difficult, though, to break into Arsenal's veteran defence. When he was used, though, he rarely let the side down. For such a tenacious competitor, it must have been frustrating not to be a regular in the Premiership. However, Vivas will relish being back with Argentina, and a consistent Copa América from him will certainly help his career at Highbury.
On his Vivas! It's his first goal for Arsenal. A lovely moment for the man from Argentina.
So look out for Nelson Vivas in this match. What a game it promises to be. Argentina against Colombia. It's another game from the stadium in Luque. Pitch is holding up pretty well, bearing in mind it's just sustained one full-scale match. And this really does promise to be a great game. Sit back and enjoy it now. Commentary comes from Ray Wilkins and Martin Tyler.
Well, here in Luque, the referee tonight is from Paraguay, Ubaldo Aquino. And on the 4th of July, Argentina hoping to be the stars in stripes. Exactly a year to the day when they were knocked out of the World Cup at the quarter-final stage by Holland. Vastly different Argentinian squad, with many of those World Cup stars choosing to sit out the Copa America, which might surprise many, including Ray Wilkins.
I think it's a great shame, Martin. We are without Batistuta, probably the best all-round centre-forward in world football. I thought we've got Veron, who is a wonderfully gifted midfield player, Crespo, who's been in fine form. And, you know, we've got this guy, Palermo, who's the latest centre-forward to come off of that belt of theirs. And he looked quite impressive the other night once he got himself going. He's a big chap, but very nice feet.
A couple of changes by Argentina, and Arsenal fans will recognise the number 13, Nelson Vivas, who has come into the back line for Ibarra. And González, wearing number 21, replaces his clubmate at Zaragoza, Gustavo Lopez. Tremendous backing for Argentina, not quite the same for Colombia, who were very happy with the way they performed in their opening game against Uruguay, and their coach Jorge Alvarez has named an unchanged side. Colombia have never won the Copa América, and they're facing the nation that are seeking a record 15th triumph in this South American Championship. Argentina certainly didn't have it all their own way in their opening game. but they were more efficient in both penalty areas than their opponents Ecuador, who've just given Uruguay a good game but have ended defeated. So Uruguay on 3 points from 2 matches. Argentina and Colombia have their 3 from their successful starts. It is a very tough group, this one. But a winner tonight will be guaranteed a place in the quarterfinals with Peru and Brazil, who both won their first 2 games here in Paraguay. Burgos, Argentina's goalkeeper, is taken over from Carlos Roa, the man who defied England in that penalty shootout in France. Roa has retired on religious grounds, and Burgos, I understand, is also going to get his job at his club, Real Mallorca, in Spain, as well as with the international team. For a couple of hours in both Argentina and Colombia, life will come to a standstill because of the passionate interest in the fortunes of the respective national teams. Argentina attacked the goal to the right in the first half. Here's Zanetti. Colombia, much changed from much of the decade when the likes of Valderrama, Rincon, the untouchables they used to call them, they ran the show on the field and off it. This is a revamped Colombian setup, and they play at a quicker tempo, but they've got some defending to do in these early moments here. The man who got 2 goals for Argentina, his first 2 international goals, Martin Palermo. Oh, well, a good quick drop to his right by the goalkeeper Calero, otherwise Argentina would have been off to a flyer. Ayala, who's more than useful in the air, had come forward.
He used exactly the same corner kick the other night, many times, Martin. That whipped him ball to the near post. And if you notice, Palermo, he's the guy that actually comes around the back post for anything that flashes across the face of the goal.
Ayala's just helped, a bit of a bit part player really in Milan winning the Italian championship. Played around 10 games for them in Serie A.
There, I think that's used his body very well there, Bonilla.
González, the number 20, having a good look at the angle of this free kick, trying to give Burgos some early work. Cordoba has gone forward, they've left it to González.
Bit ambitious, Martin, or what, that one? That's a long way out, isn't it?
I think the Argentine fans are letting him know what they thought of it.
Yeah, I think Burgos is going to take something a little bit special to beat this chap. He looked very agile the other night. He's a little bit flashy as a goalkeeper, but he made some very good stops.
But he did get beaten by a free kick.
Yes, he did.
A much better one than we've just seen.
Yeah, no question. Yeah, that was an excellent free kick. Javier scored up.
The early tackling, as keen as you would expect in a match of this stature. Simeone is down. I'm never quite sure what that means, and also Barros Schelotto was caught as well.
I think it helps the fact that Schelotto and Palermo play for the same club side as well. They seem to have a very good understanding, Martin, in the field.
There's a good cluster of men from Boca Juniors who are having such a successful time in Argentine league football. So Simeone being carted off.
I think you can safely say he'll be back though, Martin.
He might just have taken note of the culprit. He might have done as well, as the spectators get a very close view here in this stadium. we mentioned at the start, Ray, some of the players missing from this tournament, but to be fair to them, one or two like Claudio Lopez have been saying, well, I wasn't actually asked to play. It's not a case of being too tired or pulling out. So the coaching staff might have their own agenda. It's giving the opportunity to the likes of Palermo. And he might challenge for this cross, and it's a handball, and it's been spotted. And the presence of Palermo panicking Colombia. With only 4 minutes gone.
Yeah, it's definitely handball, Martin, but I can't for the life of me understand why he's gone and handled that. You know, even if Palermo does get a foot on that, he's got a hell of a lot of work to do. That's Vivas there giving the penalty kick away. And Palermo looks as if he's got the confidence to step up and attempt to put it away.
This is the first penalty of the Copa América of 1999. Martin Palermo, who got 2 goals against Ecuador the other night. Against Miguel Calero. Oh, and he's missed it by the crossbar.
He gave it a fair old wallop, but as you're quite right to say, Martin, off the top of the crossbar. Poor miss from a man in very, very good form. There we see it once again. Definitely strikes it very well indeed. But miles over the top. He's probably left the stadium, that one, I think, I would have thought, with the ricochet.
That might be heading for Argentina. Close to the border here. It's the massive Argentine support, but they'll be very disappointed with the way Palermo has let Colombia off the hook, and Vivas in particular. González, Betancourt, who floats between the midfield and the 2 up front. Hamilton, Ricard and Victor Bonilla, who got Colombia's winner against Uruguay. Forward by Bermudez. Here's the lanky Lozano. A good change of pace, good balance for a tall man in midfield.
I thought he had an impressive game the other evening against the Uruguayans, Martin. He looked a very accomplished midfield player.
Ayala. Well, play on. When 1 or 2 stopped, expecting the referee's whistle because of the challenge on Palermo. He is a big attacker.
It was a great first touch again, wasn't it? A good shot. I think it's González, having the final shot there, and it's a first-class save from Calero.
It's a tentative beginning defensively by Colombia. Only beaten Argentina once ever in the Copa América. But whenever these countries meet nowadays, there are recollections, particularly in Colombian circles, of a qualifier for the World Cup finals in '94 when Colombia went to Buenos Aires and won 5-0.
My word.
Probably the greatest day in Colombian football history. And
I've got to say, having experience playing in Buenos Aires, that really is one hell of a performance.
Here is González, one of the 2 players who brought in Argentina. Palermo again. Sorin well forward, he likes to do that. The gifted midfield player Riquelme, who's come through this fantastic youth policy that Argentina have. They have a wonderful production line, but they haven't had a wonderful penalty taker today. That they've had under their current coach Bielsa. They also missed a penalty in a friendly last month against the United States. It was saved by Casey Keller from Gustavo Lopez, who's been left out of the team tonight. Well, are we going to get another penalty for Colombia? We are. Vivas holds up his hands in horror. Oh, an eventful beginning for the referee.
There's that little Betancourt. He's a very tidy player, isn't he? He received the ball. It was a bit of a lucky ball in actual fact. There's Hamilton Ricard wants the ball to take it. He's not going to let him have it. Erusem. He's looking to go past Vivas on his outside. And it did look a penalty kick. That's battling for very neat and tidy. Definitely sticks his elbow into his chest. I would have said that's a penalty kick, Martin.
Referee very close. Not shirking the responsibility. Well, having survived the penalty against them, Colombia had the chance to take the lead, and having gone through the Copa America so far without any penalties, suddenly they're coming thick and fast.
It's interesting actually, Martin, where the penalty develops. Sorin, who's the left fullback, he's very, very good going forward. Defensively, I don't fancy him at all, and that was the area in which he got caught out.
It's Cordoba for Colombia in the 10th minute. 1-0 they lead. Well, he kept his head down, eye on the ball. Burgos obliged by diving the other way.
Yeah, he struck it well, didn't he? He one thing on his mind, just to hit the back of the ball and hit it hard, and fortunately for him, Burgos went the other way. So once again, it's a good strike, both feet off the floor. Actually ends up on the floor, but Burgos did help him out by going the other way. They can only go one way, of course. A little shimmy beforehand. It's in the back of the net. Nice strike. I think we're in for a game, Martin. Game on, I think.
Absolutely. With a definite result happening in the earlier game, as opposed to a draw, which has suited both these sides, there is plenty to play for. Great match to win this one, but loser will then be wondering whether maybe Uruguay might slip into the second spot in the last round of matches. Ayala, by Quintana, who's a young right back and was singled out for special mention by a Colombian coach after the opening game. I've been a bit concerned about playing him, but he came through that challenge well. Bermudez, the captain. A bit of illegal contact there by Hamilton Ricard, who's come back to South America off the back of a pretty successful season with his English club Middlesbrough. When he's good, he's very, very good, and on the bad days, well, he can look a bit clumsy and awkward.
Yeah, I think Robbo's very pleased with him last year, Martin. I spoke with Brian about it, and he said that he thought he'd had a tremendous season for him.
15,
took a long
15
time.
Premiership goals.
Took a long time for him to settle down. Obviously, you've got the climate as well to look after, and he's only a young man as well. So let's hope he continues to improve.
There's the very athletic Zanetti. Now Schelotto. It's a probing cross. It gave some problems to the last defender, Quintana, but he's come out with gusto. And showing bags of attacking ideas of his own, getting into Sorin's territory, where Argentina, as Ray was pointing out, may well be a bit vulnerable. They've got a left back who wants to press on, but maybe can get exposed. There's a lovely, adventurous feel to the game. There's nothing like an early goal, really.
The game's long, Martin, isn't it? They're basically playing the game from penalty box to penalty box. Consequently, you get a lot of space in which to play.
Zanetti favours the right foot, although he scored against England with that free kick. And Etienne with the left, and immediately pointed down to his left boot to suggest it was an unusual occurrence.
He's a fabulous player, though, Martin. Very fit lad.
And they're going to need their fitness. They're going to need their terrific tradition and determination. They're going to need better finishing from Palermo. Sorin. They're missing Ariel Ortega, who's with the squad, but he's now into the second game of a 3-match suspension, so they're obviously banking on him for the later stages of the competition. That suspension was issued after the events of a year ago today. His stupidity in the latter stages of that World Cup quarter-final against Holland down in Marseille. 1-0 to Colombia. the goal scorer, Cordoba, who plays his club football in Argentina. So no wonder he was pleased with the result of the penalty for San Lorenzo.
No question, Martin. It's interesting, actually, with the loss of Valderrama having retired, the fact that they used to play everything through him, and he did slow the game down for them. I was very impressed with the Colombians the other night, and I'm impressed with them this evening as well. They move the ball quick, they're very athletic, and they're looking an impressive outfit.
Lozano. Bonilla. Oh, well, Hamilton Ricard was screaming for the ball to be laid off, and Bonilla used him as a decoy.
I've got to say, that was wonderful, wasn't it? The turn itself was just magic. No backlift on the shot, and I don't think Burgos would have smelt that one. I think that would have flown in had it been on target.
But he is a highly regarded young defender. He is quick, whereas Bermudez alongside him is maybe a little bit slower off the mark. They do like to defend deep because of that. There's plenty of space in midfield. You don't get too many offsides given when Colombia are defending, but they've got a decision here. So referee Aquino giving a penalty to each side inside the opening 10 minutes with differing outcomes.
There we see that shot again of Bonilla's. It's just a lovely turn. What a shot. Very unfortunate.
Well, the likes of Zanetti and Simeone, important figures you feel at this stage for Argentina in these circumstances. The men who've been around a bit more in international competition than some of their teammates. There goes Simeone. Picked off by Cordoba. Riquelme. It's always an outlet on that left-hand side for Argentina. Sorin on the move forward again, just running out of room. Comes from the River Plate club. Ibarra left out of the starting lineup, and a number 11, Gustavo Lopez. And no Ortega on that list yet. Won't be eligible either for the third group game, but then assuming that Argentina is still involved, and I think that's a pretty safe assumption, whatever happens in this game, Ortega will be back on the international stage. Vivas back on it tonight, but not a happy beginning for him. González. This is lovely play in Colombia.
That's fantastic, Martin, isn't it? Great football. There's that left back spot again.
Quintana, can they round it off with a finish? Beautiful build-up by the Colombians. González. That's another touch, and astute touch.
Party time, huh?
Betancourt.
I was listening to Clive Allen earlier saying that he felt Colombia had a very good chance of winning this tournament. Not a bad shout on this performance up to now.
They did play well in the first half against Uruguay, not so well in the second. So maybe it's the latter stages that will produce the bigger test. Zanetti trying to use his excellent athleticism to get down the outside. Been 4 years now in Italy. He signed just before the Copa América of '95.
He's been very successful as well, Martin. He's had 4 very, very good seasons.
Come right in saying he is ever present for Inter in Serie A.
Yep, he was, Mark, yep.
This is Barros. Schelotto! Reflection on the shot. The striker forward who's got a twin brother who also plays in Argentine Division 1 football, but happily not in the same international team, otherwise it would be difficult for the commentators. Just to spot them, but to say that it's double-barrel names.
Yeah, quite.
Double occasions.
Good tackle from Bermudez there as Schelotto moved through into that area to get the shot in. He covered across very, very quickly.
Ayala couldn't locate the corner that time. From Riquelme. Well, if Colombia, as Clive Allen suggests, might win the tournament, it would be for the first time. They were runners-up in '75. And Higuita back in the fold, but not back in the team. It's a bit unlucky. The shot might have been off target anyway from Ricard. Simeone trying to pull the strings in midfield. A real grizzled veteran of international football. Good touch by Palermo. González. Bermudez cutting out the cross. Oh, and that bounced up awkwardly. Good handling by Miguel Calero.
Simeone hitting the shot there, Martin. It was a good volley, and it did get a kick. Here we see it coming in once again. It does kick up very high. And Calero does very well to his left side. Good stop.
He turned it round the post, I think he'd have been pleased, but to hang on to it.
Did very well.
Zanetti. That was the combination that they're looking for up front between the two Boca forwards, Barros, Schelotto and Palermo. Good opportunity really in the context of the game now just to see how good Argentina are. Riquelme certainly got the support with them. Palermo using that powerful physique. Again the defending denies it.
A beautiful ball into him as well, Martin. Riquelme there, just lofting the ball into his chest, and the big fella did the rest. Very, very strong on the edge of the box.
It was a bit slow to get going in the first game, wasn't it?
Yes.
In the first half, he got his goals in the...
Very much so, but you see him against Cordoba here. Cordoba does very well to get in an excellent challenge in the finish, but the big fella shows great strength there, going in between Cordoba and Vivas.
Another Riquelme corner, same sort of area. Well, they're appealing once more against Quintana, and the referee's not going to give a third one. Not yet.
How cool was that defended in the 6-yard box?
Brought out by González. Break for Colombia. Bolaño. Well, that is the right back. They've got up there, virtually covering the full length of the pitch. Quintana.
Yeah, he's a very athletic lad, isn't he? There we see the one coming in before. I couldn't really see whether that hits a head or a hand.
Nor could the referee. But certainly those around the incident, wearing light blue and white stripes, were bellowing in the direction of the Paraguayan official. And now the camera focusing on Hamilton Ricard at a Colombian corner. Lozano. Maybe Argentina can break out, but Colombia recovering quickly, having sent defensive players forward at the corner. Vivas. Argentina can't get it out of their own half. Barros. It's Bonilla.
Very similar area to the last one, wasn't it? Which he was slightly more successful with the last one.
You can see the smile on the face of the coach Alvarez, and no wonder.
Yeah, I think he'd be very, very pleased with the way things are going up to now, Martin. You stated earlier they look a little bit shaky in defence, and they do, but they're playing against some good players. But in possession of the ball, some of their passing and their movement is quite exceptional. 1 and 2 touch play. Battencourt becoming very influential as well, the small man in midfield.
Referee giving Colombia for a moment a 12th player then. The crowd letting him know what they thought of it. As Bolaño makes a lot of ground. Here's the elusive Betancourt. There's a ball on here to Ricard. He didn't make the most of it. Choked back into trouble.
Sorry, Martin, no confidence in his left side. He should have taken that one touch on his left foot and blasted it.
Riquelme. But Lozano was pretty tough in the challenge. Betancourt, who's a couple of years behind in his international development because of a long-term suspension he got for being sent off in the Pan American tournament, which is not granted full international status. Is regarded in this part of the world as part of the breeding ground for future full internationals.
One would have thought probably the playing career of Valderrama would have held his up as well, Martin, because they both are ball players and playmakers, so it would have been tough for him to get a game there, I thought.
Awkward for the goalkeeper.
Very good tape, wasn't it? Palermo there really breathing down his neck, and Calero took that very well indeed.
A bit of a ticking off for the challenge, but it was a ball he was very entitled to go for.
Well, he has to go for that one, doesn't he? You'd be asking questions of your centre forward if he wasn't going for that, Martin. Calero keeps his eye on the ball, lovely. Very good tape. That's pretty harmless stuff, isn't it?
It's not perhaps the usual route in the South American Championship, though. Argentina have a great reputation down the years for a clever passing game. I think Batistuta's gone some way to changing the perception because he's got aggression to go and all his other attributes.
It's always nice to have that variation, Martin, isn't it? It's lovely to see the pretty football played around the box, the 1-2s and the flashing dribblers, but it's always very nice when you've got someone up there with a bit of size, you can sling the ball in and hope that the big fella can get on the end of it.
Commentators are champions of the big men, present company included. Bermudez, now the test for Calero is kicking. It's not the truest of surfaces, although the guys in Paraguay have coped well with the heavy rain of the last couple of days. It's a great chance for the equaliser, and Barros, Schelotto didn't really connect.
Never touched it, Martin, did it? Might be his old swing of the left foot. It certainly looked it as he went to hit the ball. He'll see it coming across. Palermo doing very well once again. Yeah. Going wide, but look at the agility of Calero. He moves his feet very, very quickly to get across to that.
Ayala. Touchdown by Palermo. Riquelme. Simeone still going on. Confidence there from Vivas, who seems to have got that early rush of blood out of his head.
Thank heavens for his side. But on both flanks with Vivas and Quintana on the right-hand side, they've got two young guys there that really do play the game in a nice manner.
Moving opening chapter of the game. Still not half an hour gone. Argentina 0, Colombia 1. Penalty by Ivan Cordoba. Coming in again at the back post was Barros, Schelotto, but the referee may be spotting a bit of pushing by Palermo. Ball has ended up in the net, but the whistle had gone.
Good football down the left-hand side with González. He played there. Here we see him now on the ball. Gets in a lovely cross. Looks to have a very, very nice left foot, González. First time I've seen it. Definite foul, Martin, yeah. Just holding him back there. Nice finish though, wasn't it?
If only could have done it with the earlier chance.
Yeah, quite.
González. They're up for this, Colombia. There's Palermo penalised again. And Simeone rather coming back, and it's another Colombian free kick. By González.
Having some confidence, Martin, aren't they? A little flick over the head there from González. Not the best of shots. Still giving Burgos a little bit of problems though.
Argentina's last game is against Uruguay, and all the traditional rivalry that goes with that.
Interesting encounter, that one, obviously.
Form counts for very little.
No, that's right.
Colombia finish off against Ecuador, who have played impressively and might turn a real goal scorer. Simeone. Down goes Sorin. Referee having a word with Lozano for delaying the taking of the free kick. Bolaño playing his part there, helping out Quintana on that far side. Schelotto. It's a very difficult ball to control, and even he'd accomplished that, he'd got the tenacity of Vivas to have to deal with. González.
Just not allowing Argentina to settle down, are they, Colombians, Martin? The pressing game is exceptional. They get to people's feet very, very quickly and make it very tough for them to move the ball on.
They've got to keep doing it.
To keep doing it, you're dead right. You allow the Argentinians to get back in, and once their confidence is up, then your evening becomes very, very difficult.
Throw taken by Vivas. And they can pretty much guarantee that Sorin will be there, and Simeone just hoisted it without really taking too good a look. There's Samuel. Joined us, a penalty each side inside the opening 10 minutes. Argentina hit the bar with theirs. Colombia scored.
That's another great ball in there from Riquelme. They use this a hell of a lot, the Argentinian side. Just a little dinked ball into that massive frame of Palermo. And he manages to hold the ball up in the box, and who knows what might happen after that. But it really is a super little ball that Riquelme plays in.
Corner for Argentina. Some 12 minutes to go to half-time. Palermo opting to try and raise a boot to that.
Seems strange, doesn't it, when you think he stands at 6'4", I'd have thought 6'4", 6'5", but he actually went with his foot. You'd have thought he'd been better off sticking his head on that one.
Right on top of that incident as well. He's given the free kick to Argentina, making sure that there was no adverse reaction.
Got to say, Martin, over the whole thing, I've been very impressed with the officials. I've got to say, really upward play. Every time that something's happened, the referee's on the spot. This is an identical position where they scored the other night. Riquelme and Simeone scored a header at the back post.
Colombia, I'm sure, aware of that his shortcomings in that respect. Samuel is there as well. Schelotto. Which one's he going to try and pick out here? Samuel. Is it González who's cutting it back? I think it was.
Yeah, I think you're right, Martin. It was González, but I thought he chose the wrong option there. Actually, I thought he might have drilled that across with that wonderful left foot that he's got.
Betancourt.
That's a good tackle. I think he's been penalised there for a good challenge. He takes the ball.
Again, the referee couldn't be faulted for his positioning, even though you might question the judgment.
Yeah, he certainly couldn't. He's right on top of it.
Hoisted though the free kick. Cut out by Simeone, who's been playing in European football for 9 seasons now. Suspicion of a handball.
A lovely skill.
Betancourt. Trying to get it into the feet of Bonilla. Referee right there to say free kick to Argentina.
Yeah, I think he was prepared to let the advantage go. Had the ball eventually gone to an Argentinian player, but it didn't, and I think that was a good decision.
Barros with the header. Decent balance on the left-hand side with González and Vivas, making it difficult for Zanetti to get into threatening wide positions. Quite the game of Vivas to do that from right back. More naturally a defensive player.
They've doubled up on him well, Martin. It's a good spot. They've doubled up on him well, and Zanetti's rather been anonymous in this first half.
Tentative there, unusually so by Simeone. Ricard's layoff. And it's Vivas with a chance to press on. Now Schelotto. Riquelme. Moves beautifully with the ball. The wide position on the left-hand side more often than they have on the right, but hasn't yet produced the real killer cross.
Yeah, I think like Colombia, the Argentinians have a very well-balanced left side, don't they? Samuel plays left-sided central defender, Sorin plays left full-back, and then González, who looks to have a wonderful left foot, plays out on the left side, so they are going to get some good positions down in that area.
Barros, Schelotto. Palermo. Coming across. It's a difficult ball to try and reach anyway, but with a defender at your back that much harder.
Yeah, once again it was that little run he made as well, Martin. It's a fabulous little run he makes, and if you can't get the ball into his body there, he's going to cause a few problems.
Hamilton Ricard, while we were studying that replay, he's got himself into trouble and got himself a yellow card. His Copa America hasn't really taken off as yet. Again, Argentina looking more dangerous down the left. And Colombia may be a bit grateful to get that offside decision.
They're not picking up runners too well, the Colombian midfield players. Wonderfully gifted in possession of the ball, but once the ball is played past them, that's very tight, isn't it? Very tight. The Colombians holding a pretty firm line there. Yeah, and as I was saying, they allow runners to run past them, and the Argentinians are getting in down that left-hand side quite a bit now. Such
a confidence in possession though by Colombia. Perhaps perhaps making quite the progress that they did in the opening 20 minutes or so. But that's part of the reason, of course, the traditionally rugged Argentine style of defending.
Rather cynical, that, wasn't it?
That's a good word for them, isn't it?
I think it was Nelson Vivas, actually. Yeah, it was. A bit naughty.
His adventure to England included getting sent off in an FA Cup semi-final against Manchester United. Never really established himself with Arsenal as a regular, but was often the first substitute sent on.
Yes, he was, either whether it be in defence or in midfield, Martin. So he's obviously well respected there by Arsene Wenger.
And all the European eyes at the moment in terms of the scouting on this tournament. Be sure that some of these players that you're watching in the Copa America will find their way into some of the top European club sides. And it's been a very entertaining tournament. Plenty of goals about. Quintana. And he can run.
Some life, hasn't he? Plays the game with enthusiasm. I think that's what everybody wants to see. Looks a terrific little player.
He's one of those that might be catching the eye of clubs from other countries. Simeone claiming that he got the ball and he might have had a case there, but he threw through the air the young Colombian right back, and they get a free kick, which is entrusted to Bermudez, who carved the obvious target. Zanetti. And it's worked to Sorin again. We're in the final 5 minutes of the first half. Bermudez maybe trying to get the ricochet for the throw. In the end, he had to go diving into the challenge as the ball broke into play. He says he got the ball.
Well, the referee was right on the spot again, Martin, so he had a first-class view of the incident.
And here is a possibility for Argentina. He did get the ball, didn't he?
Yeah, he certainly did.
Nothing wrong with that. The referee is seeing it the other way, and that decision could be a costly one for Colombia, with Palermo lurking. His penalty missed to make up for. Put in his direction. Colombia back in numbers. And they did well there. And they're getting support in the centre. It wasn't perhaps the right option. Cleared by Samuel. There's the ball to Bermudez. And it was a foul.
They did well, Schelotto, there. They really did pin him very well indeed.
Zanetti. How much the balance of the side is to the left again. Schelotto over there to add to the likes of González and Sorin. Zanetti cut out by Quintana, and as soon as he's got it, one thought in his mind: to get Colombia on the front foot. But he's run into some traffic.
Yeah, he lost his way there, didn't he? And he's got it back again.
And he's opted to pass it this time. That was the wiser alternative. Victor Bonilla, prolific goal scorer with Deportivo Cali, heading, it seems, to Spain and Real Sociedad. Simeone. Give and go. Couldn't come off. Colombia standing firm on the edge of their own penalty area when they're challenged like that. But it's their second half performance that's going to hold the key as to whether they can get a terrific victory. Well, a decent try by Palermo. The odds were against him. Maybe a less single-minded player might be looking for someone to lay it off to on the edge of the penalty area. I'm not sure if there was anybody in a good position we might see here.
Yeah, I thought he might have held this up, Martin. He's in a good position to hold that up. No one's around him. He's got Vivas behind him. But if he could have pulled that down, that could have been very interesting. Very ambitious what he tried. And Vivas taking a kick on the head for his efforts as well.
Decision that's pretty automatic to be given in this part of the world.
And throughout the major parts of Europe as well. I think we're probably the only country that don't actually do that, Martin. I think it's a fair rule, actually, I've got to say.
He speaks the man who played in Serie A. It's a long run by González. Oh, it's in the net! But the referee says no, that the way was cleared unfairly and Argentina let off. González doesn't know. He's got to get back on the pitch because Argentina took the free kick quickly. Well, there's a major talking point just before half-time.
That is a big talking point, isn't it? I think he's given it against Hamilton Rickard because he tugged the defender. He was actually in front, but he was tugging at him as he was defending against him. And I've got a little feeling that wasn't a bad decision. We will see it again.
Just too high for Palermo, but he's still in there. Well, it was a cute free kick. And if the idea was to distract the goalkeeper for Rickard, it was a question of whether he did it fairly or unfairly. The referee's given his view.
It was a brilliant free kick, wasn't it? Lovely ball into the box.
Beating the ground in frustration. That might just sum up the way Colombia are feeling because of this.
Well, I've got a little feeling, Martin, that he used his body very well here. Or did he push him? He's 6 of 1, half a dozen, I think.
And had it been given, you wouldn't have been surprised.
No, that's right. Similar area as well.
And also which angle you see the contact from.
Yeah,
the referee's point of view. Here we go again. I must say it's been a very, very entertaining first half. Very good quality international football match. Two countries who we've grown accustomed to making their mark on the world stage. Colombia, of course, with less long-term tradition than Argentina, but they've been involved in the last 3 World Cup finals.
They've been very impressive, the Colombians, very impressive indeed, especially in possession of the ball. Terrific.
Well, it's half-time, a lot of incident, but we can simplify it for you by saying it's been a story, and the referee having a little flashpoint to deal with here as he waves the players away and telling them to get into the dressing room with half-time. Maybe some Colombian complaints about that disallowed goal. Not maybe, definitely. But it's been a story of 2 penalties, one missed by Argentina, one scored by Ivan Cordoba for Colombia. That all happened in the first 10 minutes. And then close to half-time, the free kick by González that ended up in the net of Burgos, but the goal disallowed. And at half-time, Colombia feel they should be 2-0 up, but they go in leading Argentina by 1-0.
Welcome back. Half-time then in Luque in this Group C match in the 1999 Copa America. And what a scoreline we have. We've got Argentina 0, Colombia 1. And indeed, what a match we have. Chris Waddle and Clive Allen with me here in the studio. Chris, sensational stuff. I mean, what a standard.
Well, we know what to expect with the Colombians. They do love to entertain, but full credit to them. They've came out, they've matched Argentina physically. Looked great on the attack. scored a good goal, a good penalty, well moved, good move.
They surely can't sustain this tempo, this level of play.
No, because they're playing very deep, they're getting behind the ball and they're frustrating Argentina, but when they get it, they've got a break, and it's 60, 70 yard runs all the time, and you'll have to use the substitutes very cleverly.
Now, before Colombia took the lead, Clive, Argentina had a chance to score, and what a mess they made of it.
Yeah, well, when the cross came in, I didn't think there was any doubt that Vivas should have really just seen it out. It was a good move down the left, deep cross. Palermo's got a hell of a lot to do from that position.
Because he's facing away from goal.
Yeah, the best he can do is hook it back into the danger area, and really, it's the right arm goes out, punches it away, and it gave Argentina really what should have been a perfect start. It's really difficult for him to get it back into the danger area from there. And he steps up and...
bit of a hash of the penalty.
I know about these. He's tried for power down the middle because he knows the goalkeeper's had a gamble on the dive.
Yes.
Unfortunately, it's hit the ball and gone over.
Yeah.
It's a great strike. In fact, he's probably did too well.
Yeah. So, right, that was a missed opportunity, but Colombia had an opportunity shortly afterwards from the penalty spot. This involved Nelson Vivas of Arsenal with the foul inside the area, and the penalty was given.
Well, it was Hamilton Ricard who obviously crossed it. A great bit of skill by Betancourt. He's a lively player. Good bit of skill.
That's the foul. Referee right on the spot, no doubt at all in his mind, and I think ours as well.
Yeah, it's clever feet here. He's in the box. He skips past Vivas, and it's a blatant body check. And the referee has been excellent tonight. I must say that. In a game that's been fast and furious.
Yeah.
And Cordoba made sure with this one.
Good contact there. In fact, strange, he sort of both feet off the ground at the point of impact, wasn't it? He sort of skipped in the air.
Yeah, he went for power again, but obviously keeping it down, and it's on target. It had to be stopped, and the keeper's committed. So, that was a good response from Colombia after they could have well been one behind, and they're one in front.
Now, just before the interval, controversial moment. Again, Hamilton Ricard involved. He seems to be involved in one or two incidents. We've had a few smiles, haven't we? But what did you make of this, Clive?
Well, it's a good free kick. There's no doubt about that. The actual there was physical contact between Ayala and Hamilton Ricard right at the very start as they were running into the penalty area. The ball comes in here. It starts way back, about 5-6 yards back, and in the end, Hamilton's right arm goes across. He's pushing him out the way, and the referee, obviously deems that it's a free kick. But it was a dangerous ball in. He's just pushing the defender there. The right arm, as you see, he's up to head it, and he's being physically pushed out the way by Hamilton. And disappointment, because if Colombia had gone 2-0 in front, I think that the Argentinians would have found it very difficult to get back into this game.
OK, thank you very much indeed, boys. There we are. It's half-time then in Luque. Argentina trailing Colombia by a goal to nil. Despite that, the Argentinian fans continue to keep the noise going. Fascinating second half in prospect. Make sure you don't miss it. We're back in a couple of minutes. Another big week of live cricket coming up for you next week here on Sky Sports. 5 games on Tuesday and Friday. It's the women's one-day internationals between England and India. On Wednesday, it's the 4th round of the NatWest Trophy between Worcestershire and Surrey. And next Saturday and Sunday, the semi-finals of the new Super Cup. That's 5 matches coming up for you all next week, live only on Sky Sports. Right, the half-time break just about over. They're just about to get underway with the second half in Luque. Argentina trailing Colombia by a goal to nil. We got a chance, I think, once more to reflect on that controversial incident, Clive, just before the break, and it's a disallowed goal. But let's take another look at it, and I think it becomes slightly clearer, doesn't it, as to why it was disallowed.
Well, you see the referee's arm up here, so it's an indirect free kick as González knocks it in.
Yeah.
But you can see Hamilton Ricard leaning on the defender Ayala here.
Yeah.
The right arm pushes him out the way. There's no touch on the ball, so the free kick wouldn't have been allowed anyway, being indirect, and also the referee spots the infringement from Hamilton Ricard.
What can we hope then in the second half, Chris? What would you expect to see from both these sides?
Well, I hope it's the same again, because that was excellent entertainment, but to keep that tempo up will be very, very difficult. Argentina's got to change it. They're going to probably give it 15 minutes, see if they can force a goal. If not, there'll probably be 1 or 2 changes, I'm sure. But for Colombia, it's going to be very difficult to hang on and play at that tempo they played first half.
What about our friend Hamilton Ricard? Is he going to last the 90 minutes?
Well, he's not having the best of nights, is he, poor Hamilton? But I'm sure if he doesn't pick up the first 15, probably Johnny Montana will come on, the young guy, and So
the strange thing is, we were saying, weren't we, as the game progressed, that in a way he physically and in every sense doesn't seem to fit in with the Colombians. The rest of them play an entirely different way.
well, they like to play one touch, two touches. If they get the space, they love to take people on.
Yeah.
But if you look, they very rarely ever look to get it into Hamilton's feet. They always seem to go for the other guys, and he basically must be in the team to get on the end of the crosses or the final pass, because he doesn't seem to join in any of the local play at all.
He plays his football in the Premiership, of course, up in your neck of the woods. I mean, what's the sort of reaction of fans to him up there? Do they like him? Is he?
Well, it took him a while to, his first year, they were all, I mean, they had names for him, and but last season I think he made up for it with his 15 goals, whatever he got, so
Sure.
they're quite happy with him, but they say he does miss, obviously, a lot of chances.
But just to get back to the second half, I know that you feel that Colombia can't possibly sustain this. I mean, you were saying they were on oxygen at half-time in the dressing room.
I mean, to play that tempo at any level in the world, you know, like we've talked about Brazil earlier on, first half, first hour outstanding, then the fade away, because you can't sustain it. Nobody can, doesn't matter how physically fit you are, you cannot play at that tempo.
No, I just wonder, Clive, if Argentina have been surprised by the way Colombia have played. Not surprised, but you know, they've trailed 1-0 for some while now, and they've really got to work hard to get back in this game.
Yes, but I think that they will stick to the task, and their game plan was set out. And as Chris says, I'm sure that the tempo will drop from the Colombians, that Uruguay will get stronger as the game goes on, and I do have 1-1 in the sweep, so I'm hoping that that's the final score.
Fingers crossed for you, perhaps, then. OK, right, we are just about ready to get underway then in Luque for the second half of this game. It really has been fabulous entertainment so far. Remember, Argentina 0, Colombia 1. That's the scoreline at half-time. Cordoba with the penalty for Colombia. Hamilton Ricard, he's still there. The second half about to get underway. An awful lot of entertainment coming your way. Let's rejoin once again Ray Wilkins and Martin Tyler.
Welcome back to Luque here in Paraguay. Argentina coming out for the second half. A goal down to Colombia as the half-time debates raged as to whether they should be 2 goals down. Foul given against Hamilton Ricard. And the referee has been out on the pitch a good 5 minutes before the teams reappeared. Maybe that was one way you could get away from any Colombian protest.
They do seem to please themselves when they come out on the field, Martin, these lads, don't they? That seemed a long half-time interval, that one.
Well, a substitution for Argentina. Diego Cagna, another Boca Juniors player, has come on for Sorin. All credit to Colombia the way they played in the first half, but I did cover their match against Uruguay when they also put together a fine first 45 minutes, but they did find it hard to sustain that in the second period. Ray, is that partially down to the way they play?
I think it could well be, Martin. You know, we've seen them bombing forward, doing 60, 70-yard runs in the first half. There must come a period in the game when you do get a bit fatigued, and if that is going to be the case, then substitutions are going to be vitally important, one would have thought.
Argentina understandably anxious to get on with the second half, causing a retake at the kickoff. Straight away, looking to reimpose themselves.
Zanetti's gone to left full-back in place of Sorin. That's the way it looks anyway.
A position he has played before.
I think it's the threat of our friend Quintana down the right-hand side. A lot of pace, and obviously Zanetti there to look after it.
Here's Betancourt with a lot of space. The ball teased through for Bonilla, who teased the Colombian supporters with a swing. And his left foot, which is not quite as good as his right. But Argentina maybe just reorganising in midfield. We're a bit slack in the pressing department there. into the game, this. Colombia would expect Argentina to redouble their efforts in these opening minutes of the second period. Crossed by Quintana. It's a penalty. My goodness, this referee is not flinching the big decisions. And Colombia get their second penalty of the game. Burgos calming down his teammates. The last thing that Argentina need in these circumstances is to get a dissenting defender sent off.
It's a brilliant ball in, Martin. It has Quintana once again. Well, it definitely looks as if there might have been a little shove in the back. Referee once again in superb. His positional sense has been absolutely magnificent.
Well, it was Ayala and Ricard. Now it's the situation with a second penalty in the game. Do you let the same fella take it? Well, it looks as though it's going to be a change. And it is Ricard. A vital kick. And Burgos has saved it. And Hamilton Ricard, who has had no joy in the Copa America so far, has to accept the responsibility here at a vital moment in the match. That would have given Colombia tremendous breathing space. Burgos went the right way this time.
Yeah, you even got the impression with Burgos, even when the nitty-gritty was taking place, that he quite fancied himself with that one. I've got to say, it wasn't the best penalty kick I've ever seen. It was a great height for Burgos, and Hamilton Ricard fouls from the penalty spot. He couldn't get hold of the ball quick enough, Martin, either. He was really up for it, and it's a great shame for him.
Colombia unabashed. And the cross too close to the goalkeeper from Quintana. So a game of 3 penalties. I wonder what Cordoba, who thrashed home Colombia's first, is thinking at the moment.
Yeah, well, I think there were several guys that actually wanted that one, and I'm sure Cordoba would have fancied it once again.
What sort of contact was it by Ayala and Ricardo in the first place? And the referee's angle said penalty. See Ricard arching his back to make the most of the situation, which he did to get the penalty, but not when he decided to take it.
I think you would have to say as well, Martin, that when the cross came in, I didn't fancy Ricard at all to get his head to it. So it was a pretty silly challenge anyway.
Disallowed goals. It remains Argentina 0, Colombia 1. The prize for the winner, a definite place in the last 8. And there's González. Betancourt. Reshuffling with Cagna coming in on that right-hand side. Bielsa, the coach. Riquelme hasn't really been able to impose himself on midfield. That's their intention again, to feed it into the feet of Palermo. Flag has gone up.
Yeah, they play that ball a hell of a lot, Martin, don't they? And big Palermo there was a little bit unfortunate he couldn't get hold of it. It was another good ball in. It's a shame actually that Zanetti's actually had to go back and play at left full-back, because obviously here's the penalty once again. Hamilton Ricard a little bit tame, I felt. Good save.
Burgos keeping Argentina in it.
Yeah, I think Argentina will miss the raids of Zanetti down that right-hand side.
Palermo's layoff. Simeone. That's no problem in the end to Colombia. Colombians got to the quarter-final 2 years ago. They were beaten by Bolivia in Bolivia. And 2 years earlier than that, they reached the semi-finals. And went out to the eventual winners, Uruguay again. They had trouble with the host nation. Luque. And you can see he's desperate to try and make amends. He is a very personable guy, and you feel for him in these circumstances. Cagna with the cross. Goalkeeper's decided to come, and anyone will go down in the penalty area with some hope today.
I think everybody will feel they've got half a chance, because the referee is right up with play, and I'm sure that he's given one up the other end. I don't think he would even hesitate to give another penalty. But I've got to say, he's been very fair, Martin. I think he's read the game very well.
Zanetti. Oh, he can line it up. And Colombia a bit slow to react. Whether that's a first sign that their tremendous efforts in the first half is beginning to take its toll on the midfield runners. Plenty of space in which to set the sights.
I think that's the one benefit you do get from Zanetti. If he can get in forward areas, then he will come inside onto what is a very, very strong right foot, and he does have a bit of a shot on that right side as well. But I think the Argentinians have started the second half in much better form. They seem to be getting hold of the ball. Their passing's a little bit better, and a lot more possession of the ball.
Zanetti. The biggest danger in the end for Colombia was that too many cooks would have spoiled the broth and trying to get to the ball to clear it. Riquelme. Good spell this for Zanetti in particular.
Great disguise on the pass from Riquelme there, picking out Zanetti, looking one way and just cuts it back across his body. And we see Zanetti taking on big Bermudez there, and just getting a little block in. Just a half block, that was all it needed, and Calero can come and pick it up.
Well, Colombia have got to try and deal with this problem that's being caused by a different type of player coming at them down the left-hand side. Maybe this change has that in mind, but it's Betancourt who's giving way to this very talented 16-year-old Johnny Montano.
What a name, huh?
Great name.
Great name, huh?
And he gave a glimpse or two of his talent as a substitute against Uruguay, and he's into the action quite early in the second half. A somewhat reluctant Betancourt moves the proceedings.
It's normally the ball player that is sacrificed in these situations, Martin. Purely the fact that they do find themselves defending now, and they've got to get something on there that is going to either hold the ball up or be a little bit more effective.
Taking it well was González. Montano is another of the Colombians who plays his club football in Argentina with the Quilmes club, but a 16-year-old playing in a tournament of this stature. If you're good enough, you're old enough.
There's no question about that.
The World Youth Tournaments and their South American equivalents have been a great success in bringing on young talent in South America, maybe better than some other parts of the world, where the better players usually get made available to play in these tournaments.
Great first touch he had there, didn't he? Beautiful little pass forward.
Simeone still trying to peg back this goal, Argentina. And about this stage in the first half, penalty from Cordoba. Cagna. Interception by Montano. And his instincts are to go forward, and he can do it at pace and with plenty of good technique. The direction of the pass was anticipated. Ricard teeing it up. Montano really, it was González who hit the shot. thought on that free kick of his just before half-time, Ray, as to whether it might have been an indirect free kick. Nobody did touch it, but
interesting. I didn't actually see whether the referee's hand was up or not, Martin, but that's a good, another good way of looking at it, I've got to say.
One of many issues in this fascinating match between Argentina and Colombia. It's overhit by Riquelme, trying to drop it in to where the movement was. Simeone's very good in the air. Argentina won the World Youth Tournament in 1997 with Riquelme in their team.
Good spell, the Argentine football, Martin. They've got some fabulous young players. You know, we mentioned before the people that aren't actually in this tournament, but they really are a very talented group of guys.
Well, what happens is they produce a group and they go on to play for European clubs and occasionally, or less often, for the international team, and it just clears the way for the next set to come on. And so the production line continues. If one or two of the big hitters don't want to play, well, you can bet your bottom dollar there are plenty who are prepared to grasp the opportunity here.
No question. Oh, word, he's got some confidence, this young man. He's 16 years of age. Good ball.
That's a fine way to spread the play. Good cross on the run by Quintana. Burgos quite deliberately diving into that to knock it away. And what's becoming more and more the predominant style for goalkeepers all over the world, rather than looking to hold this lively football of the modern times with all its aerodynamics.
He had to grab hold of that one, Martin. He could have saved
Riquelme, Palermo. Colombia trying to crowd Argentina out, and they've done that.
They did very well, didn't they? He could have saved his defenders a few headaches there by just getting hold of that ball at the near post.
It's a shame for Vivas. He covered a lot of ground. He puts the arm up to apologise. He's not only given the ball away, he's ended up putting a teammate in trouble. Offer you another spin on the second half penalty if the referee had any doubts about disallowing that goal just before half time. It's on the soft side, I thought, for what it's worth, but it was missed by Hamilton Ricard. Bonilla needs some attention.
Yeah, I think it was a challenge that you probably see how many times during the game? Hundreds, haven't you?
But he doesn't look a referee to bow to those sort of pressures.
No, he certainly doesn't. He's handled the game very well indeed. Be interesting now to see how the Colombians cope with this, because the Argentinians are definitely in the ascendancy, and attacking wise, the Colombians in the first half had a lot of imagination, looked terrific, but they do seem to have gone a little bit quiet.
They are efficient, the Argentina team by and large, and they haven't panicked. They're trying to play the game their way. They've made one or two adjustments, and in an attacking sense at least, Zanetti's switch to the left has given them a more imposing presence on that side of the pitch. Simeone trying to ease it wide with the help of Cagna. Barros, Schelotto, I haven't seen much of him in the second half, but it's a corner earned by his endeavours.
Good defending from Vivas, not going to the floor until the last second when he felt he had to.
And Vivas, who was brought in for this game, has been taken off now, and the man he replaced, Hugo Ibarra, who's a more attacking right back, comes on, try and get more penetration down that flank perhaps.
I thought he was very impressive the other night when I saw him play, Martin Ibarra. He got forward very well, defended well, and I thought he looked one of the Argentinians' best players. A bit surprised when he was left out.
Another good challenge leading to this corner by Bermudez on Palermo. They are club mates with Boca Juniors. And now Colombia looking to sparkle on the break. Bolaño, but he played that without looking. It was easy to be mopped up by Samuel. Nifty footwork by him, and Burgos is reveling the chance to be the number 1 at the age of 30. Comes from River Plate. This move to Mallorca, likely to follow shortly. González. Head back to him. Difficult for the goalkeeper. And a little bit lower, and Palermo by the far post would have been able to nudge it into the net.
Oh, smashing 1-2 around the box. There's González getting on the end of it. He really does stand this up very well. Very difficult ball to stand up, that is. And just grazing the top of the crossbar there. Palermo would have the easiest of touches. Look at this, a lovely left foot he's got, González. He's riding their luck a touch at the moment, Colombia. We spoke about the first half staying with runners, but González got in rather easily there.
Argentina may be starting to grind them down. But the crowd are anxious, the majority of them Argentines.
And the coaches are a bit anxious as well.
Is this the day that the prophet Nostradamus said the world would end?
It sure is.
We're past that point, happily. But for 1 or 2 thousand Argentines here, in the football sense, their world might come crashing down if Argentina can't find at least an equaliser here.
I'm sure it will. They're very passionate about their football, aren't
they? Riquelme spotted the run but couldn't produce the pass. The movement ahead of him was by Palermo.
Fabulous pass.
And left foot of González into the action again. He kept it low this time, and Palermo at the far post was disappointed.
And he was choked, wasn't he? I think he expected another one of those little stand-ups. Here we see him, González on the ball. He could have stood it up as well. He had the room to do it, and big Palermo on the back stick.
Schelotto. Good block. More and more possession for Argentina. Ibarra on to engineer some more offensive work down that far touchline. Colombia at least forcing Argentina back this time and doing more than that, taking the ball from them. Montaño, who is not short of confidence, the brashness of youth, if you like. Sometimes they freeze, and on this sort of occasion looks no trace of nerves at all. Palermo wasn't the best of balls, and Bermudez making that spin away for a goal kick.
Well, really, that's the last thing they want, Argentina, Martin, is to have Palermo. Looks like he's done his hamstring there, Calero.
That's the last thing they want, Colombia.
Yeah, he's played very well indeed, hasn't he? Now, Palermo's after taking the ball off Zanetti there, outside the box. They want the big fella in the box for anything that comes in.
I believe that's a genuine injury rather than a bit of time wasting. But Bonilla, who's not quite had the opportunity with the supply in the second half. Zambrano, who was used as a substitute against Uruguay, and maybe coach Alvarez is feeling the need for an injection of fresh legs up front, as Argentina have to chase the game. Gaps might open up. He's keeping faith in Hamilton Ricard though at the moment. Ricard couldn't catch that one. result this would be for Colombia. But it's not in the bag yet, not by any means. Riquelme. To play the game at his pace, not to be rushed into releasing the ball in an unproductive way. It's given away by Samuel.
Well, I think he's a very thoughtful player, isn't he, Riquelme, Martin? He doesn't give the ball away cheaply. If it has to go backwards, it'll go backwards. But he likes to play. He likes to play with the ball.
Yes, they tell me he's also a very thoughtful person off the pitch as well. Shy type. Game to watch out for. 3 into 1. The one
Simeone ambush there, wasn't it?
One or two English followers remembering the World Cup and the David Beckham incident, who will have the scant sympathy with Simeone. And
here comes your problem player now, Martin.
Gugli Min Pietro. Actually in Italy, Ray, and I know you're a great student of the Serie A scene, they just call him Gugli.
Really?
He's got his championship medal with Milan.
Yep. I think that's pretty sensible stuff.
Well, you can call him that.
Yeah, we will.
Quintana impeded.
Appears to have worked a bit, doesn't it, with the Zanetti switch? We saw Quintana initially doing his stuff.
Now what is the referee going to do here with Zanetti? He's off. Well, it worked up to that point. Arm out. Quintana holding his head, making the most of the contact.
It looked as if it was the elbow area that actually hits him in the face as well. Now, whether Zanetti's done that on purpose, I wouldn't have a clue. But the referee, has to be said again, Martin was right on the button.
And Bielsa must be beginning to feel that it's not going to be Argentina's day. They should have been in front, an early penalty. And having missed that, it's never got going for them, really.
Well, I think we've got to say he did try to check him there, and one would have to agree with the referee, I think.
So, Javier Zanetti, one of the more experienced members of this Argentina team, sent packing. And the referee has awarded 3 penalties, disallowed a Colombian goal to mass protests. And must be closing in on the Man of the Match award.
Yeah, you would have thought so. Yeah, he's done well, Martin, hasn't he? You know, we often sit in judgment of referees, and it's very difficult for them anyway. But he really has performed very well. Look at him again, right up with play.
Simeone's pass, and Colombia would be well advised not to get complacent here. A goal up, a man up, and González picked out by Simeone.
Yeah, great pass, wasn't it, from Simeone? I would imagine just skipping up off the turf there, and just his timing just wasn't right.
We had no red cards in the first 4 games in Copa America, and I think it's now 8 in the 8 subsequent games. So Salas will be disappointed to hear that he's got a 2-game ban for his dismissal against Venezuela yesterday.
Yeah, it's a great shame, I think, because obviously the viewers and supporters alike obviously miss the big player plan, Martin, don't they? But, you know, they've got to play within the rules. It's very unfortunate, but that's the way it is.
It's Montano. He's got options either side, and he should have picked one or the other. And his teammates were not best pleased with the 16-year-old there.
It would have been nice if one of them would have picked him up, actually, Martin, and shown a bit of spirit to the younger fella.
It's a good bit of retrieving. Gives Palermo something to battle for. measured pass when maybe a player with hotter blood in his veins, shall we say, would have had a tragic goal.
Yeah, it was a good pass, wasn't it? It was a shame Ibarra couldn't hit such a good pass himself. Very poor cross from that area.
Players forward, Colombia, when the opportunity presents itself. It hasn't been on such a regular basis. Ricard, he's now gone down. Lozano.
I think we can safely say he's not having the best of times, Ricard.
Everyone who's ever played the game knows those days when everything you try goes wrong.
They're not very pleasant.
I'm sure it didn't happen very often to you.
I'm sure it did, I can assure you, Mark. Yeah, just offside, holding quite a high line there, Argentina.
The length of suspension for Zanetti for that particular offence. Evaluate each disciplinary situation on its merits, if that's the right word.
I was going to ask you actually what the situation was with that.
The majority of the players we've heard about to this point have only got a one-game ban, even if it's been a straight red card.
Right. And that's decided directly after the game, Martin, or the day after, or
pretty much the day after.
Right.
And the referee called into question the Colombian defender then. Listen to the reaction from the crowd here when a position like that is wasted. It was Cagna's cross that was mishit. Colombia looking for the second goal that could well settle it. A deflection, and the way it's gone against Argentina today, I wonder whether that might have just looped into the net.
Yeah, he's had a good game, González, Martin, hasn't he, down that left side? Very busy player.
Flying off Ayala, Roberto Ayala.
It's important when you're in that area that you do actually get someone out and block that ball, and Ayala did very well there. Didn't commit himself to any tackles or anything, but did well.
Vivas has come up, fisted out by Burgos. Barros first to it. Montano going to take them on again. Unlucky. It's a reverse pass that you might think would be beyond a centre-back.
Yeah, it was a good pass, wasn't it?
But it's a good spot, but not accomplished.
Simeone reading it very well.
15 minutes to go. Montano got that yellow card a moment or two ago. González. Riquelme. Palermo. Penalty. Handball. Referee's given another one.
Vivas again. He can't keep his hands down, this chap, can he?
Well, what a match. How often have you seen this? 2 penalties for each side.
Full credit to Palermo, he's gone straight to get the football as well. There he is.
Well, Colombia changed their penalty taker with disastrous effects. Palermo, who squandered the first spot kick. His header was up, and it wasn't quite as blatant as the first one.
I've got to say, Martin, I think he's very, very unfortunate there, Vivas. It's just a natural reaction to actually go into a challenge with your hands at that height, one would have thought, and I think he can count himself very unfortunate.
What's going through Palermo's mind? Is he going to smash it again? He'll go for placement this time. This for 1-1. Oh my goodness! Even higher than the first one.
me if I'm wrong, Martin, did he take the one in the first half with his right foot or his left foot? I can't remember. But it just appears that he's taken one with each.
He scored a goal with each foot in the last game. The man who got two and with a tremendous reputation as a current South American Footballer of the Year.
My word, that's that's high and wide, isn't it?
So from hero to zero. And it's still 0 for Argentina.
When was the last time an Argentinian missed 2 penalties in one game? My word. 4 penalties, only 1 scored. It's being decided on penalties here today. They deserved to get away with that one, I felt. I thought that was a little bit harsh on Vivas. It was just a reaction that you make when you're going for a challenge, and the ball hit his hand. He didn't actually put his hand on the ball.
Well, when he comes to write his memoirs, Ubaldo Aquino, the referee, I think there might be a couple of chapters on Colombia v Argentina, July the 4th.
He's sent the coach off now.
He has.
He doesn't sit on the fence, does he?
And he doesn't sit on the bench anymore.
Exactly.
Both penalties left-footed. And both...
Well, perhaps he'll take the next one with his right foot then.
I think he's better taking him with his head, actually. Well, we must give him some marks for having the character to go through it again.
I've got the impression it's a proven technique he's got anyway, Martin.
Corner for Colombia. 2-0 for Colombia. Well, Montaña was in there, all sorts of celebrations, and in the thick of it, the number 7, Congo. And I just wonder whether the defender got a touch, but it doesn't matter for Colombia. It's a goal.
It's a clever goal as well. Very poor defending from the Argentinian angle. Ball to the near post, no one there, ball goes straight through, and it's a lovely little flick. Here we see it coming in, very poor defending. Palermo, the guy who misses it, oh, what a lovely flick there.
Was there another touch on the way, and I think it went off a despairing Argentinian lunge.
Yeah, you're dead right there, Martin, it does. Good improvisation though, lovely flick, ball just behind him, just gets a little flick to it, well done.
And it's Argentina 0, Colombia 2. An extraordinary scoreline with 10 minutes to go. On the day, Argentina have wasted 2 penalties, Colombia have wasted 1. An amazing match. Kick against Bermudez.
A bit of banter in that dressing room when they get back, wouldn't they? The old Boca Juniors.
Bermudez challenging on Palermo. Danger was still alive until González thrashed it over the top.
He snatched at that, González. You'd have thought with such a cultured left foot he'd have made something rather better than that. Here we see it once again. Plenty of time.
And it's the tension that comes in when your team's in trouble.
No question. Just had a little bit of a panic up.
Bermudez. He's happy to drive it forward. Only ever beaten Bielsa, Argentina's coach. Going to watch from distance and knowing the stick he'll be getting from the supporters of the national team. This is pretty much everyone in Argentina.
There's not much he can do about one of his top strikers, the South American Football of the Year, missing 2 penalties on mine, is there? You know, they haven't played very well, I've got to say, Argentina.
And Colombia want more. With the Congo again. No sooner brought into the game and in the right place for the second goal, and he's bursting with life.
Brilliant defending from Ayala there. The Congo attacking him with pace, but Ayala made a wonderful challenge.
They're brimming with confidence, Colombia now. The second goal has settled them down. Certainly the sending off of Zanetti helped in that respect as well. Montaño. Everybody wants to get in on the act. And Argentina might find themselves with a damage limitation exercise now. And goodness me, it's all set up for their match against the old rivals Uruguay.
Should be a belter, shouldn't it?
Colombia will go through, provided they avoid any major alarms in the last 7 minutes.
They seem to have got a new kickstart, don't they? New lease of life since the second goal. They're back to their old confidence again, Colombia.
Well, they look a team happy playing 11 against 10, which isn't surprisingly always the case, is it?
No, you're dead right, Martin, it isn't. And but they're such good users of the ball, such good technicians, that they are happy because they use the ball early, nice and tidily, and they've looked a good outfit. The important thing against 10 men, sorry Martin for butting in there, the important thing against 10 men is to play with width and depth in your side, and that's exactly what they've done.
Time wasting by Calero. And that's time being used up by Colombia. And Zambrano.
But you can't use the time up now when they've got all them balls dotted around, and you can't even get a breather now in this modern day football. It used to be a time you could boot it in the stand just for 30 seconds rest, but no longer.
It's tough for the players, but great for the supporters.
Yeah, it's wonderful for the spectators.
The game, even greater value for money. Oh, my goodness, this has been a value for money match. Invested to pay to come in and watch it, or for invested a couple of hours of your time to be with us, incident upon incident. It is handball of the clearer variety by Riquelme. Zambrano. Back again, Ayala. Montaño. It's a delight to watch, and the Congo no sooner on, but in the right place at the right time. Okay, he's on for our old friend Hamilton Ricard.
Naughty challenge going in there from Simeone. That was over the top of the ball. Nasty challenge.
Oh, it's brilliant from Colombia. The net shakes on the outside. It was Zambrano who was played in.
That's been a highlight of their game, Martin, tonight, hasn't it? The little 1-2s around the box. The movement's been fantastic. And just a little bit unfortunate there, Zambrano. He couldn't actually squeeze that in between Burgos' near post. Here we see it once again. Samuel can't get with him. And just off target.
Well, we know Brazil are the favourites. Paraguay is the host nation. Got to always take them into account. And Argentina were the second favourites before this. But there wasn't too much talk about Colombia. It will be now.
I think with those yellow shirts on, Martin, in the first half especially, them little 1-2s they were making, you could have been Brazil that were playing. So they must have half a chance, Colombia. playing now. He's been involved all over the place.
Oh, imagine if Colombia go on to score from this, which they could do. And they have done. And it's the 16-year-old, definitely this time, Johnny Montano.
I think he gets a wicked deflection, Martin, somewhere along the line, but my word, is this fella, he can play, can't he, for a young guy?
Well, it's been a fantastic evening for Colombian football, and they've shown in the first half the quality of their starting lineup, and the substitutes have come on almost to steal the show.
My word. Yeah, it comes off the back of someone's head.
And poor Burgos was absolutely powerless to deal with the trajectory.
Ayala's head, I think it was, Martin. But you've got to admire the young man's confidence, haven't you? He should have played in two other players whilst he had a possession of the ball, but he thought, blow it, I'm going to have a go from here, and what a shot.
All set up by the interception from the referee.
Yeah, it was actually, yeah. He's played his part this evening, hasn't he?
So 3-0 to Colombia. We started by talking about the day they went to Buenos Aires and won 5-0. In that World Cup qualifier back in '93. And this will be mentioned in the same breath.
Been a good performance though, Martin, hasn't it? You know, they have passed the ball very, very well indeed. Not allowed Argentina to play. I think that's vitally important as well, because when Argentina do play and the confidence is up, they're an outfit to be reckoned with. But this evening that hasn't happened. Colombia got hold of the game right from the start and made it very, very difficult.
Well, shall we say right from the moment that Palermo missed his first penalty?
Yeah, quite.
And Argentina, well, put their slant on things and say, well, hang on, we've missed 2 penalties here. We had a player sent off at a time when we were beginning to show we were the more dominant force, certainly through midfield. Zanetti paying the price for a stray arm, and there was no way back from that for Argentina. And Colombian supporters, who are very much the quieter, and there's certainly much fewer of them here at the beginning of the game, are reveling in this now. Oh, look at this. Oh, but Bermudez isn't really built for that sort of trickery. Palermo. Oh, it's a penalty again.
Will he or won't he?
He's got the ball.
He's got it.
Well, in covering football for the best part of 30 years, I've never seen anything like this as far as penalties are concerned. 5 in the game. The referee, Ubaldo Aquino.
Soft, bit soft, I think.
That's by the by, really.
Yeah, quite. You've got to admire this guy's nerve, by the way, I've got to say.
Well, he's on a hat-trick of misses. Oh! Well, spin back the video and watch this over and over again, because I can't ever recall seeing this happen. One player missing 3 penalties in an international match.
And I would have to say it's a wrong decision for him to take it. I think Simeone, the more experienced player, should have got hold of him and said, enough's enough.
This is González.
It was a great shame in that fact they gave the penalty away, because the passage of play was absolutely brilliant. The keep ball session they just had, and there's big Bermudez giving it away, yeah. But it was wonderful football. There's Simeone getting involved again.
He doesn't take defeat easily.
He's only a young man as well, isn't he? And getting right into his face. Here's that.
Well, one skinned the bar, one almost disappeared into the next country, and that one, Calero, gets in on the act by stopping it.
He's had a good game, Calero. When he's been called upon, he's done very well indeed. Straight at him, but very, very strong right arm. And we see him get his right arm nice and high and strong, and it's a good stop.
And I wonder if Bermudez is pleased. It was his error.
That is unbelievable, isn't it?
That is
I've
the
never
word.
known that before. Never.
Roman, that is the word. And if they're getting the penalty area, there could be 3 penalties each. That's the next scenario. Let's have a look at the watch here. We've had a couple of minutes of stoppage time. It's an extraordinary, extraordinary match. Forward by Riquelme. It's running on so long with our satellite coverage here that going to have to hand you back very quickly at the final whistle. Just to say 3 goals for Colombia, 3 penalties missed by Argentina, and one unfortunate man in particular, Martin Palermo, the hero of their win over Ecuador. Colombia also managed to miss a penalty of their own in a match of 5 spot kicks, a sending off for Zanetti. Colombia have qualified. Argentina face Uruguay in a vital match with their fate in the balance. But it's all about Colombian celebration here. But a game the like of which many of us will never have seen.